Hey everyone, Aaron Stewart from the Little Black Couch. Grateful to have you here today on this Monday. Had a really good weekend. Was able to relax a little bit, and I'm excited to announce a couple cool things that are going on. But before we do that, let's just jump right into our intro, just so it's official, right? Welcome to Monday, and here we go. Thank you. Welcome back to the Little Black Couch. My name is Aaron Stewart. Happy to have you here on this Monday. So always good to get back into the week. I had a good weekend, but it just didn't feel like I got enough relaxing in, right? So had to come in here and get back at it. I do have my cousin in town, and we've been working on some really cool automation concepts and ideas to sort of make entrepreneurs' lives easier, especially publishing. So a lot of what I do here on Facebook Live and stuff, we then take and try to repurpose and reconnect and try to get the most out of what we're trying to do. So we'll see how it goes. This will definitely become part of the test. As far as today goes, I was also able to I'm doing a series on the podcast. So the Facebook Lives and the podcast are separate. I tried to do them both at the same time, but I'm just not that smart. So I have to do them separately, sort of a remedial way, not the millennial way of doing things, but it just is easier for me to do them separately. So we're doing an 8-part series on steps that you can take as parents and as adults to help the youth become more entrepreneurial minded. So really excited about that. Went in and did a lot of research on some different topics, some neurological pathway topics, and understanding how to motivate and keep children kind of going forward, and just make sure as parents and as adults we don't sort of kill this entrepreneurial fire that's in all of us. It really is. It's just a matter of then going out and trying to figure out how to foster that and how to develop it, and to do it in a way that's so much fun that the kids have no idea what we're doing. They just think that we're awesome adults. Okay, so that's sort of the idea and the concept behind it, and I think we've nailed it. So over the course of the next 8 days or so, next 8 podcasts, I've got the first one in the can. It will release later today, and we'll get the other ones out subsequently after that. So a really cool thing there. So that kind of brings us up to date on the stuff that we're working on today before we get into today's discussion from the Little Black Couch. And so let's bring in Buddy real quick. He always kind of gives us a little hint as to the topic of where we're going to go. So we're just going to run over there real quick and see what he's got. So there Buddy is, and so an angel head emoji, which is interesting. And I can see where he came up with that one. I think it's, as far as emojis go, Buddy, that's about as good as you could have done right there. So I like it. I like it very much. So there's Buddy live. For those that don't believe he's live here, my hand. Yep, he's right there. He literally is just right over there supporting me in this endeavor of going live. So here we go. Okay, so what we wanted to get in to discuss, it's there's certain aspects to being an entrepreneur that can become quite frustrating. And if we allow these frustrations to sort of overwhelm us and stress us out, it can be what I like to refer to as creative killers. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Well, to be an entrepreneur, to really be at the top of our game as entrepreneurs, we need to be creative. We need to be able to be in a place where when we see a unique problem, that all these potential solutions come flying in, right? Because we're just in that state. In order to be in that state, I've learned a few things. There's definitely some interference that comes along in life, and if we're not careful, that interference can prevent us from being the most efficient and effective entrepreneur we possibly can. Okay? We know that education inspires entrepreneurship and increases our ability to see entrepreneurial opportunities. A researcher did some really good research on that, as we know of. And then we have to figure out, now that they've got the perception, what do we do to make them into entrepreneurs? And once they get into that entrepreneurial spirit, how do we keep them there? Okay. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things that can interfere or kill this creativity. And so I want to discuss about one of those creativity killers. I actually posted about another one of the creativity killers in one of my little, on Instagram, on one of my little graphic quotes. Boom. So it's up there. That's a topic for another day. And if you're interested in that, you can go find us there on Instagram. If you just look for Little Black Couch, we're there. And check that one out. It's a bit of a thinker. So definitely get and check that one out. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about what do you do when you get into a situation, and they will come, when you are super frustrated with somebody or angry and you just can't seem to shake it. Okay, that's an issue that I think that we have to address. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Let's wrap this sucker in a story to kind of give you an idea. So early on in my entrepreneurial endeavor, I had a partner, and things didn't quite work out. His wife wasn't very into the entrepreneurial lifestyle, which can be difficult. I'm not going to pretend that it isn't. You know, the ebbs and flows of entrepreneurial life. Sometimes you got a whole bunch coming in and sometimes you don't. You're in between ideas and opportunities and you're just trying to figure it out. And it just depends on the type of person too. There's those types of entrepreneurs that like to get into it, get the business set up and just stay there. And there's others that like to get the idea going, and then once the idea is up and running, the whole day-to-day is not very exciting. And so they bail, and they are the ones that usually probably don't make a ton of money, but really enjoy their lives, right? Sometimes they hit it big, but sometimes they're just jumping from project to project. And so that's the situation entrepreneurs find themselves in, and whichever entrepreneur you are is great, right? There's some that just find the right thing up from the get-go, and it's enough to spark their passion and keep them in it. And there's some that just, they get it up and going, it becomes to be a little successful and they just want out, right? Looks like we've got the lawn care folks out in strength today around the office. So I apologize if we're picking up on any of that, but it is weed whacker time in Utah. But as an entrepreneur, and I'll wrap this up. So this partnership sort of dissolved, and it went okay. And I thought, oh, that's not too bad. It's easy to get out of partnerships. So that caused me to get into another partnership pretty soon thereafter with a guy I didn't know real well. It was a guy who was referred to me from a friend who I did trust. And we got into a partnership, and it was okay at first. And then it over the course of a few years, it began to deteriorate. And some promises were made to people outside the company that didn't really align with where I wanted the company to go. And we came to a crossroads where things had to split up. And it got to be financially very challenging. So that's a whole choose your partners wisely is definitely a good example there. But it's a situation where the partnership had run its course, and there was really no benefit for us to go forward. And so then trying to figure out how to split up the assets became a challenge. And I think that this is how you know it was probably a pretty good deal for both. I think we were both upset with the final outcome, right? I definitely wasn't happy with how much he got out of it. And I'm sure he felt like he was owed a great deal more, right? And he was wrong and I was right, but that's beside the point. It's really not really the point of this discussion today. But we went on from there. Well, I found myself over the course of the next few months just super angry. I mean, just really ticked off. Really angry at this particular person. And couldn't really, and then began to notice, fortunately, after about a month, I mean, I'm not a quick learner, but after about a month, I started to realize that when problems came up in the business, and they do come up, and you're wearing so many different hats, that all of a sudden my ability to come up with solutions for different problems, and even just to start down the road of trying to figure out a solution, that I just didn't have that creative ability anymore, and my problem solving skills were shot. And I realized that I had been wasting much of my resources, my mental capacity, on just being angry and just being ticked off that this guy had, at least in my opinion, taken advantage of a good situation, and I had to pay for it. Well, this anger was absolutely killing the entrepreneurial spirit inside me. So that is why I call it a creative killer. It's an entrepreneurial killer. So I learned very quickly at that point, okay, I have got to get over being ticked off at this guy. It's not working. I'm getting nowhere fast, and I've got a lot of problems I need to solve in order to keep the current clients we have happy with us. And we had some growing pains. We were scaling pretty quickly, and I had been fortunate enough to go out and get some new business without this guy, to try to make up the difference between what I had to pay him and now what we had to generate in order to have a decent living and pay the bills. And that had worked out pretty well. And now the problems were coming in, and it was time to solve them. And so what you have to do then, obviously, is start to consider steps to getting over whatever that is. And it doesn't matter. You're going to have customers that tick you off. You're going to have vendors that tick you off. You're going to have family members that tick you off. You're going to have people that tell you that what you're doing is absolutely stupid as an entrepreneur, and you should just go get a job, with the school district or whatever. And you're going to have to just learn to drop those things as quickly as you possibly can, because as entrepreneurs, our problem-solving skills and our ability to see problems and then try to come up with solutions, that's the bread and butter of what we do. Right? And that's what the world is expecting us to do. So we have to reserve all of our capacity for that. It can't be wasted on these silly little petty things of being angry at so-and-so for whatever they did, and frustrated with so-and-so, and I can't believe that the power bill is this high. And all of that stuff is just a killer. And if you find yourself getting caught up in those things, it might be time to delegate and get those things away. So, hello, Nick and Joe have joined us. Welcome, gentlemen, to our live here. So appreciate it. And look at the hearts going like crazy. And Joe sees Nick. So excellent. So very good. And dear friends of mine have joined us on the live. Appreciate it very much. So that would be my word of advice. That is a creative killer. Do not find yourself angry and stay there. That is a miserable place to live. It's a bad neighborhood, as we like to say as entrepreneurs. You cannot waste effort on that. Let it go. Angry at people is not worth it, and you will find more success the sooner you can get to a place where the little things and the stuff that tick you off and make you angry disappear and go away. So I hope that helps. Let's bring that up. Hey, Joe. Oh, we can't really see that well. I need to edit that to change it to a different color. We're going to make it bigger. Oh. You don't want to produce live on here, right? So we'll just, oh, wow. There you go, Joe. How about that? Yeah, that's great. Talk about the better half there. Wow. Yeah, you did all right, my friend. I hope she doesn't figure it out. Anyway, so we'll go back here. Anyway, okay, steps. Steps then to get over being angry. And it goes back to a lot of the things that we've talked about earlier. It's about reprogramming the neural pathways in your brain, and this is how that's done. Nick. Let's bring Nick on here. Boom! Oh, hey, Nick, that made you really big, bud. Sorry, yeah, I'll fix that later. We'll make that a little bit smaller. And you know what? I think I can just do this. Can I just change this to white? Anyway. All those who are watching live, this is probably not, I need to change it here. Shadow, light glow, save. How would that work? There's a light glow there, but it's still big. Anyway, We will make this smaller. Save. Oh, there you are down there. There you are, Nick. There. Anyway, welcome. So to make things, to get over being angry. Again, we're going to deal in some, it goes back to it goes back to some teachings in the talent code. But what you need to do is when you recognize these angry thoughts, you need to be very proactive. You need to recognize these angry thoughts and you need to just tell yourself, I'm not interested in that thought. So yeah, it will come. I'm pissed off at this guy. Okay. Then you can say, okay, yeah, I am, but I'm not interested in that right now. I need to focus on this. And if you practice that real deliberate thinking, you can get out of these very negative cycles and you actually can develop a real talent for just letting things go. Okay, so I make it a point when somebody, I don't get angry very much at people anymore, but when I do, I make it a point to notice it right away and let myself know, yeah, I'm not really interested in that right now. And you create this sort of a business relationship with your mind, which is wonderful. Your mind is there to back you up and help you, but it will focus attention exactly where it thinks you want to be focusing your attention. So if you constantly are thinking about you're angry and then you allow it to just hang out there and fester, then your brain will just kind of hang out there and fester. That's not where we want to hang out. So you want to make sure that you are working with your brain, your cognitive abilities, and training that to go to something that's proactive and helpful. And as an entrepreneur, I'm telling you, we need to be someplace where we're out looking to find problems and solve them. And then let's turn those babies into businesses and make some money. People will love us for solving their problems, and they are more than happy to give us money when their lives become easier. And the only way to do that is to make sure that we reserve all of our resources for those important tasks of solving problems, of being creative. And we don't waste it on the petty garbage that we'll let the rest of the world deal with that garbage, right? We'll let the Trumps and the Clintons and all that handle that garbage. And we'll go out and create wonderful solutions for real people like us, and try to make their lives better and not make them worse. We'll leave that to others. And that has to start with you. So that's sort of the point of the day, is making sure that we stay focused and not stay away from these creative killers. And if we'll do so, then we will reserve and save and have our energy for the stuff that's really important. So that's the way to start the Monday. So this whole week, I hope that we can kind of stay in a place. Be really deliberate with what you're thinking about. Be really deliberate with where your time is spent thinking, and try to redirect your thoughts to areas that are helpful and constructive, and see how that works for you. I can guarantee you that by Friday, when I ask you again about this, if I don't ask you every single day between now and then, that you will start to see how your brain can actually be one of your best business partners. And it will jump in and support you 100% as long as we're being very, very careful with where we're directing its resources to be. Now, a brain is something, too, that's going to reserve as many calories as it possibly can, because it's also got to keep us living and thinking and all of that, which is great. So we want to make sure that we are developing these neural networks with enough myelin, which is right through practice, deliberate practice. And this practice is thinking about something that's difficult and telling yourself, I don't want to be thinking about that right now. I've got other things to focus on. And then redirect your brain to those things that you're working on. And you can literally tell it, hey, today I'm working on an email sequence, or today I'm working on trying to get the podcast done for the rest of the week. And let your brain then jump in with you there and not worry about the other things. Hopefully that's helpful. I think that it is. It will definitely change your life. It will make your life a lot easier to live, and it will make your life as an entrepreneur one that is much more beneficial to you going forward. I mean, it's about solving problems, it's about making life better for others, which will make your life better for yourself. So until next time, we can see now, does the hint from the little black couch make some sense now? Right? We want to be angelic. We want to be forgiving. We want to be kind. We want to do all those things. That was Buddy trying to give us a little help there, and I appreciate it. And then one last little treat for all of you. We're going to play the motivation video that I received last week from some friends that I coached. which still makes me laugh. I'm going to run this right now. We'll go right into the closing scene. I thank everybody for joining. Joe, Nick, thank you very much for being here. And everybody else, until next time.
We just want you to know,
as a mate,
you're amazing!
you're the bomb.com, bro.
Thank you
so
for
much.
that clarity.
Cheers, man.
Cripes. We've been going around in bajillion circles, and that gave us, you literally broke it down, and we understand exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Thank you for connecting
Cheers,
the dots
man.
for us. Thank you.
Come on, you're the bomb.com? In that accent? Fabulous. Wonderful. All right, folks, thanks for joining me today. Until next time, enjoy the entrepreneurial journey. It ain't an easy one, and only a special few get to ride it as effectively as you are doing right now. So, thank you. Out.